So the idea for today is to just hit on 4 mistakes that I was making that was really keeping me from landing a lot of fish. And the last one is something that's probably really overlooked, but I think is super important and will definitely help a whole lot. So I'm gonna head out there and see if I can still catch some. Point number 1 real quick, the mistake that I made a lot when I was brand new, which was just switching flies too often. And I'm gonna see if I can hook into one real quick and then I'll explain what I mean. Golly, there it is. Okay, gosh. I was supposed to say I kept feeling something. Little wild trout. That's what I was say. I could hardly feel what was going on there. But that was pretty quick. I'll still take that. Yeah, it's a pretty wild trout, actually. Look at the colors on that dude. Very pretty. See you, buddy. So I'm gonna be also using what are my confidence flies pretty much all day today, because I do think that the conditions are actually going to be pretty tough. To provide a little more context, it's not that I think changing flies is a bad thing. There are plenty of situations where it's absolutely necessary. But I think a lot of newer fly fishermen tend to blame the fly first, when the real problem is usually something like bad presentation, spooking the fish, or there may not be fish there at all. So over the years, I've whittled things down to about 5 flies that I know I can rely on pretty much anytime, anywhere. Those are what I consider my confidence flies. I'll usually start the day with one of those patterns because I know it should give me a good chance at catching a fish pretty quickly. And if I'm not getting anything, I'll usually adjust my presentation first. I might change my depth, change the way I'm approaching the water, or just move to another spot. Because at some point, if you know you're fishing a proven fly and you're making a good presentation, the problem might just be that there aren't any trout there, or they're just not willing to eat at all. And that takes me to point number 2. Okay, so I'm losing light actually really quickly, and I just broke off again. So before it gets too dark and before I lose too many flies, I'm gonna go ahead and jump into point number 2. Do not stay in one spot too often. Make sure you're moving around, because it could be that you're standing in a spot where you've already spooked the fish, or maybe they're just not actively feeding at that spot. So moving around often is definitely something that helped me land way, way more fish. Golly, dude. Every time I think you got a fish, it's a stick. I have gotten hung so many times already today. I think there's a lot of deadfall underwater right now. So what I'll typically do, just like that, I'll drift through several times, 3 or 4 times, make sure I'm getting the drift that I want, and then I'll move on. I don't really like getting too close to this deep spot right here. It drops off pretty steep right there, and it's definitely really rocky. Finally, goodness gracious, dude. Oh my gosh, there we go. Nice. About time. Whoop, and, okay. Well, I hope you saw him in my net. It's probably about a 11-inch rainbow. Okay, that's both on this same fly, which, just to go back to the confidence flies thing, it is definitely a good one. That little pink bead waltz worm. But yeah, you can just see how I hopped up. This thing is sort of tiered, so there's a lower section there, it's a little bit slower, this section, and then this section, and then it gets into really, really pockety stuff. I just quickly worked my way up it. I probably would have taken a little more time, but I couldn't get to really where I wanted to, so I figured I would just keep moving. I've spent way too much time sitting in this spot. Actually, I fished this one before, and there are typically some larger fish that'll hang out down deep, and because I can see them, I'm gonna sit there and cast at them for forever, and that's just a waste of time. So definitely keep moving. It's a mistake that beginners tend to make. It's a mistake that I used to make all the time, is just sitting in one spot for way too long. You'll catch more trout if you just keep it moving. All right, I actually did switch up my flies, just to go back to the whole don't switch your flies too often thing. But it's because I noticed they were hitting on my tag fly, which had a little spot of pink on it. So, but yeah, with switching spots also, if you switch spots more often, you're gonna learn a lot more about the river. That's one thing that's helped me learn so much about where fish might be holding, you know, how to drift certain runs, and more about main rivers that I fish often. It's just I move all the time. So even though, yes, I have some confidence spots that I'll hit up often, I'll move up and down the river all the time, and because of that, I'm always finding new spots. There's a fish. Decent one too. Oh, don't get downriver. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. He got downriver of me. That is not what I want. That's a decent one too. Oh, Trout. Yes. Guess what he ate? He loved the egg. I'll take that. Good fish. See, buddy.
Before I continue, I want to quickly thank Trout Routes for sponsoring this video. I've been using Trout Routes for years, and in just a second, I'm going to show you how to get a free 3-month trial of Trout Routes Pro. One thing that's really important for me, especially when I'm out filming, is being able to show up with a plan, get on the water quickly, and feel confident about the area I'm fishing. And with Trout Routes Pro, I can look over trout streams, find public access points, and review any special regulations. It's easily the most useful resource I've found for gathering information on trout streams. It's not going to magically tell me where the fish are or where to fish, but it gives me a lot of the information I need to feel more prepared and make the most out of the day. And one of my favorite features is that I can download entire regions ahead of time. So even when I'm out on the water with zero service, I can still pull up the map, look over the area, and make a quick adjustment to my plan if needed. If you want to give Trout Routes Pro a try, use my link in the description or scan the QR code on screen to get a free 3-month trial.
It's funny because I thought that felt like another one. I definitely thought the dark colors would work, would be better, but it seems like they're wanting the really bright stuff right now. But yeah, one of the reasons I say that a mistake that new fly fishermen make is not moving very often is because the more you move, it's not only better chance you have at catching fish, you're probably more likely to stumble across, you know, some good fish. That's a fish up here. Decent one, actually. Oh my goodness, it's a big one. No! How did he pop off? That was a big trout. Okay, well, I'm gonna try again a few more times after that one, but all I was saying is the more that you move, not only you're gonna get into more fish, but you're also going to learn more about the river. You're going to find better spots. You're going to learn new stuff. And I think that's definitely the way to approach water. I have learned so much about different pockets, how to drift, different runs and everything, and more about the river in general just from moving around a lot. So I definitely recommend moving, trying new stuff. Okay, so while I have maybe 10 minutes of daylight left, what I want to do is talk about point number 3, which actually you just saw it happen. Avoid fighting fish upstream. So with that fish that I just actually landed, you saw how it took off down the falls, and had I tried to fight it from up here, it's definitely going to break off. So what I did was I chased it down, was able to get it to the side in that calm water there and actually land the trout. But it's something that I used to not really think about that much. But I would also fish going downstream, and you definitely want to avoid that. Not only because you're going to spook the fish, but because you're putting yourself in a position to fight them upstream. Okay, I'm gonna have to call it on that. It's just getting so dark. I'm gonna have to come back in the morning. All right, I came back to where I ended last night because I hooked into that big fish. I want to see if maybe I could get it this morning.
Okay, so for this third mistake, it really comes down to positioning yourself correctly once you hook a fish. And on top of that, always try to set the hook downstream, or at least to the side when you can, rather than setting directly upstream. Once I set the hook, the first thing I try to do, especially with a bigger trout, is work my way below the fish. Basically, I'm trying to put myself between the trout and the water downstream, because if that fish gets below me and into heavy current, things can go sideways really fast.
This time of year, the fishing on this river just is not the best. Oh, there's a fish. Nice. As I say that. So what I'm gonna do right here, I'm gonna move downriver of this dude. I don't want to get too close to these rapids. I'm gonna move downriver of him. Okay, so now I got him above me. And I know he's gonna be coming towards me. That water's gonna push him towards me. He's down pretty deep here. Whoop. Oh, we took off, look. He's getting downriver of me. Oh, this might pop. He might pop unless he takes off upriver. So I have my back to this set of falls. I'm trying to work him back over towards me here. If I horse him too much, he's gonna break off for sure. Okay, he's going down these falls, no doubt. Oh, and he popped off. There's nothing I could do about that, but that is a perfect example of why you don't let the trout get below you. Man, that was a decent one too. How am I supposed to get downstream of him right here? But you know what, that at least is a really, really good example of why positioning matters so much. I was actually in a really good position when I was right here, and I reached for my net. I thought I had reached for my net, and he took off. He took off across the river on me. So not much you can do about that, but that just shows the importance of positioning. Okay, so with this last point, it's gonna be prioritizing the wrong gear. And I don't mean necessarily the wrong gear, right? But you're not prioritizing all of the gear. Most beginners, I know I did, I was thinking about the equipment that would help me hook into fish. So rod, the line, the leader, all of the flies, you know, buying a ton of flies before you ever go one time. But really you need to think about it like a whole system. And so I'm gonna hit on a few points here, but really if you stick around to the end, what I wanna do is I'm gonna give away something, and I'm gonna provide a little more detail on that here in just a little bit. So I could use pretty much any rod and reel and line to hook into a trout, but then what? I hook into it, where's my net? How is my net placed on my back? Am I gonna be able to reach my net easily? Once I actually have the trout in the net, what am I gonna do with my rod? Do I have an easy spot to hold my net and unhook the fish? Like all of that stuff, when you're out there in the middle of the river, it is extremely important. All right, I'm walking down right now to what'll probably be my last spot. It has just been a struggle on this river lately. So I think I'm gonna just start working higher up in the mountains and stuff like that. But I think either way, I've gotten the examples across that I've wanted to. And I would love to just land one more fish to end it out. All right, I'm not sure how well this spot is gonna fish, but I don't think many people have been even fishing the river at all because the water has been so high. But we'll see. I'd love to just get one more. Oh, there's a fish right there, yes. All right. Dude, this is a little wild trout, but he's going crazy. I will take that. So with this rod clip, swinging around here, clip it in right there. Now I got my net in between my legs, wet my hands, and then I can handle the fish. And he's already popped off. Beautiful little wild rainbow here. I don't know if you can see that. See, buddy. I didn't have my camera set up in time to capture the net release there, but it was as simple as over here. Just as a quick example, I was right here, release, scoop. So I think the idea is for each of these mistakes, they sort of all link together, and it'll help you create a better system altogether, right? It'll limit the amount of flies. It's just gonna make the whole thing simpler for you. You know, limit the number of flies that you're bringing to the river, not even bringing to the river, but just that you're trying to focus on. Find the ones that work best for you. Make sure that you're moving around to get a good feel for the river and really learn how to fish seams and fish pockets and stuff. And then make sure that you're positioning yourself correctly when you're fighting a fish. You know, trying to never fish going downriver. And it's not possible all the time, but most of the time you should be working upriver and then fighting the fish from downstream of them. And the reason for that is to where they just come straight to you. And then number 4 is make sure that you have a good system in place for your net clip and your rod clip and all that stuff. Not just, you know, focusing on your rod, your reel, your line, and all your flies and stuff like that. You know, it's everything. Oh, that's a rock. There we go, got loose. All right, okay, I lied. I'm gonna try one more spot to try to get a decent fish to round it out, but if not, that's okay. We'll just end it. Look at this. I think that's an osprey. I'm not 100%. There's a big old bird up in that tree that is making some noise and obviously looking for food. I've mentioned that in a video before, and it's 100% true that these fish, they don't like being in the wide open on sunny days because these birds are able to spot them easily. I normally don't like fishing this spot anymore because it gets overfished and it's just sort of dumb. But, oh, what in the world? That's an otter. Look, there's an otter, 2 of them. I've never seen otter here. Look. What's up, buddy? Okay, dude, there's more up here. That is wild. There's one. So I knew there were otter in here, but I've never seen them. Wow, that's crazy. He's carrying something. I think he got him a fish. Yep, look at that. There he is. He's behind that rhododendron. I can't really get a good picture of him. So these trout are probably a little spooked, and it's probably pointless to try to fish it. Well, I'm gonna give it a go. Come on, one more fish. We'll close it out. One more. The water is cooking through here. That's okay. There we go. Grab my net here, scooping. There we go. Just a tiny little dude, but I don't care. It's a little wild trout, actually. A little bitty dude. I don't know if that's wild or not. Yeah, it's wild. Skinny guy, weird looking dude. See you, buddy. Looking at his fins, though, it looked wild, but I don't know. I think I'm gonna wrap it up on that, though. So what I wanna do, though, is I want to give away one of these net clips just because I have found that it is, for me, the best system for keeping my net. And maybe it's not for everybody, but for me, it is very helpful, and I would like to help somebody else out with one. So just follow me on Instagram. I'll pop up my Instagram, and also leave a comment letting me know that you want the net clip and just a little bit about your fly fishing journey so far. You know, if you're newer or you've been doing it a while, it doesn't really matter. So, but thank you so much for sticking around to the end of this video. I really appreciate everybody's support. If you don't mind leaving this video a like, and also please consider subscribing if you haven't already. Those 2 things are super helpful. And also, please use my Trout Routes link for a free 3-month trial. That helps me out a whole lot. Trout Routes is an amazing tool. I use it all the time. I really do. So 3 free months of Pro is a really good deal. And so use that QR code on screen, or I'll have a link down in the description. But thanks so much once again, and I'll catch you next time. Bye. See ya.